Striking images continue to come from the battlefield. The underground tunnel, which the Russian army has been using as both an ammunition depot and a safe hiding place for months, was completely destroyed by successive drone attacks. However, the most striking moment of the incident happened after the collapse of the tunnel. The footage captured the moments when two Russian soldiers slowly stepped out amidst the smoke rising from the tunnel. The soldiers, who did not raise their hands at first, realized that there was nothing left to do after seeing the destruction and chaos around them. Realizing that they had no choice but to surrender, the soldiers, after a brief hesitation, put their hands on their heads and started moving forward. The footage clearly shows the operator observing the soldiers' movements moment by moment and directing them safely to the surrender points. The patient and controlled demeanor of the Ukrainian forces is striking. The soldiers move towards the designated point with their hands in the air and with slow steps. These moments reveal both the psychological and strategic dimensions of the war. The helplessness and surrender of Russian soldiers after the devastating drone strikes in quick succession clearly reveals Russia's weakness and loss of morale on the ground. Breathtaking moments in the first footage of the day. The Russian military team, carefully advancing in the trenches, is about to complete their mission when a sudden surprise comes from above: an explosive bomb. After the explosion, the footage shows the smoke slowly dissipating, revealing the silhouettes of soldiers lying motionless on the ground. The tension and violence of that moment almost locks the viewers to the screen. The impact of the bomb is so great that all activity in the area stops in an instant. We'd be thrilled if you'd support us a little by liking the video and dropping a comment. Dangerous activity on the border in Sumy region. The Ukrainian military detected a small group of Russians trying to sneak across the border and quickly took action. The footage shows the Russian group trying to carefully move through the dense vegetation on the borderline, but Ukrainian reconnaissance teams noticed the movement. After confirming the group's advance, the Ukrainian military responded quickly and decisively. The area where the Russian group was located came under intense fire with mortar shelling. The smoke and flames rising from the area due to the explosions showed how effective the attack was. The Russian group reportedly tried to take a defensive position in the first moments of the attack, but had to quickly disperse due to the intense mortar fire. Tension is at its peak in hot footage from the battlefield. A Russian military convoy is being tracked step by step by a Ukrainian drone operator. As the convoy carefully moves forward, the Ukrainian operator waits for an opportunity and takes action at the most critical moment. At this critical point, the operator activates the FPV drone loaded with bombs. The footage clearly shows the drone quickly heading towards its target and diving between the vehicles. The drone finds its target and the first vehicle bursts into flames as a result of the explosion. We'd be thrilled if you'd support us a little by liking the video and dropping a comment.
Look here, a HIMARS just targeted a Buk missile system. And by the way, welcome to the video. Ukraine is now striking more of these critical targets using drones. But the real secret is real-time intelligence. Drones keep an eye on the enemy, and then either HIMARS or kamikaze drones are deployed. The Chorny List team executes this tactic perfectly. These visuals are a true display of strategy. Now watch closely. The soldier we've tagged with a rooster on his head is the one to keep an eye on. In just a few moments, he'll be ambushed inside the house he enters by a drone. They're now closely examining what happened to the soldier buried beneath the rubble. Hey, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep going. Now, you're about to witness Russian positions being bombed, both from the drone's perspective and a distant observation camera. And it's not just one. They strike 3 Russian positions without showing any mercy. The Russian government seems helpless in the face of this. But the real question is, will they try to resolve this by negotiating with Ukraine, or choose to fight until their very last bullet? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Right here, as the Russians attempt to set up an ambush, They walk straight into one. Unaware that the drone has already spotted them, they prepare to strike. But Ukraine's FPV drone pilots take down Putin's soldiers before they even get the chance. But they don't strike the moment they spot the soldiers, no. They wait, letting them move in deeper. And once the perfect time and place presents itself, they rain the bomb down right on top of them. These visuals don't just show us the battlefield, they remind us of how truly chaotic, unpredictable, and brutal war can be. Every second is filled with tension, and in moments like these, there's no room for mistakes. At this point in the video, our drone pilot is pulling off something truly impressive. He's guiding his drone through insanely tight spaces, broken walls, narrow doorways, even shattered windows without breaking a sweat. Every movement is sharp, confident, and totally under control. And when he's in the perfect position, he doesn't hesitate for a second. Final scene. Our drone pilot spots 4 Russian soldiers hiding in a narrow trench. It's pure cat and mouse. They're covered in mud, surrounded by trees. But the drone watches from above like a silent hunter. Then, boom, a direct hit. The shockwave says it all. War is no game. So, to those who think it's just hide and seek, think again. And hey, if you're still watching, drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It helps more than you know.
War is changing, and not just in small ways. We are watching an entire military superpower struggle against an enemy that, on paper, should have been crushed long ago. But here we are. Ukraine, a country many doubted could hold its ground, is now outmaneuvering, outsmarting, and outgunning one of the most feared armies in the world. And how? With technology, intelligence, and sheer determination. Forget tanks. Forget massive artillery barrages. The new battlefield belongs to drones. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why Russia is losing the drone war, how Ukraine is using Starlink, FPV drones, and Western military aid to dismantle Russian forces, and why this war is shaping the future of global conflicts. So grab a seat, because this is going to be intense. Let's get into it. The biggest question is this: how is Ukraine, a country with a much smaller military, able to go toe-to-toe with Russia? The answer isn't just about bravery or strategy, it's about technology. Let's break it down. When Russia invaded Ukraine, they expected a traditional war. Tanks rolling in, airstrikes clearing the way, and troops capturing key cities. But Ukraine didn't fight back traditionally. Instead, they took the war to the digital age. With FPV drones and loitering munitions, Ukrainian forces are wiping out entire Russian units with surgical precision. These aren't just recon drones, they're guided flying bombs, piloted by operators sitting miles away. The drones weave through forests, fly inches above the ground to avoid detection, and then strike when the enemy least expects it. And here's where things get crazy. These drones cost next to nothing compared to what they destroy. An FPV kamikaze drone, a few $1,000s. A Russian T-90 tank, for $1 million. Do you see the problem for Russia? They can't replace losses fast enough. And to make things worse, Ukraine is using Starlink satellite internet to coordinate strikes in real time. Their drones don't just fly blindly, they're backed by an entire network of intelligence and instant communication. This is why Russia is losing entire convoys before they even reach the front lines. The old ways of fighting wars are simply not working anymore. Of course, Russia knows they have a problem, and they've been scrambling for a solution. First, they brought in jamming technology, hoping to disrupt Ukraine's drones mid-flight. But Ukraine adapted, using autonomous drones that don't rely on external signals. Once a drone is locked onto its target, there's no stopping it. Next, they tried to build better air defenses, using anti-aircraft systems to shoot down drones before they get close. But here's the issue. These systems were designed for jets and missiles, not tiny drones flying at treetop level. By the time a Russian soldier sees an incoming FPV drone, it's already too late. And here's where things get really embarrassing. Russia is now resorting to medieval tactics, using welded metal cages on top of their tanks to stop drones from attacking weak spots. But let's be real, when your military strategy involves slapping makeshift armor onto $1 billion war machine, you're already losing. This is why Russia's battlefield losses are piling up. Their soldiers are demoralized, their resources are being drained, and their best generals are being picked off one by precision drone strikes. And yet, the war rages on. Which brings us to the biggest question of all: how does this end? Here's the brutal truth: Russia can't afford to keep losing this war. But they also can't afford to back down. Every day, new military aid from the West strengthens Ukraine's defenses. ATACMS missiles, Abrams tanks, Patriot air defense systems, the list keeps growing. Meanwhile, Russia is bleeding money, troops, and global influence.